हाय गाइस, वेलकम टू डीप टॉक। डीप टॉक में आपका फिर से स्वागत है। आई हैव अ वेरी स्पेशल गेस्ट टुडे। यू नो हर, नमिता थापर फ्रॉम शार्क टैंक इंडिया। हाय नमिता।
Hi Chetan.
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर कमिंग। आप पूना से ड्राइव करके आए हो बॉम्बे बारिश में।
Absolutely my pleasure. And again, like I said, वो drive करने का one of the disadvantage is I got stuck in traffic. So apologies for being late. That's a pet peeve of mine. I hate being late. But you've been absolutely fabulous and patient in spite of that.
No, you're not late at all. In fact, because you came completely ready, dressed, everything,
yeah, that
good to
worked.
go. So
That
it worked out absolutely
Worked out
fine.
well.
And some things are worth the wait.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean it. And I'll tell you, I will now know you in this
Yes,
episode. But
yes.
let me tell you what I know. My first impressions of you.
Oh, wow.
I
This should be
saw.
fun.
Yeah, I saw I came to Shark Tank India for Anupam Mittal, who's a
Yes,
friend of mine.
correct.
I was brand ambassador of Shari.com, and I've interviewed him here, and I meet him. So I came because Anupam Mittal was in Shark Tank. Believe it or not, it was several months before Shark Tank. On my YouTube channel interview, I told him, Anupam, you'll make a great shark
Oh,
if
wow.
there is a Shark Tank in India.
Crystal ball.
No, and I think it kind of then happened. Yeah, and that thing has, you know how they tag it
Yeah,
in
yeah, of
YouTube.
course,
कि ये देखो
of
यहाँ पे ये
course.
बोला ये वो. So I came for him,
Nice.
but I stayed for you.
Oh, wow.
I
I'm
was like,
flattered.
who is this girl? Who is this girl? And she is very like, she has a way of, who's very soft spoken, but you pretty much dominated the conversation.
Yeah,
वो लोगों को
no,
लग रहा है कि वो अश्नीर कर रहा है या अनुपम कर रहा है, पर सारी गेम आपकी चल रही थी वहाँ पे.
I'm known to be a bully at times.
I
So
didn't
you
say
got that right.
No, not
I'm
bully.
Guilty as charged.
But I saw this person who's very sweet at one level, very cute, very sweet, but a dominant leader at one level. So who is Namita? Is Namita the fun girl on Instagram? I also follow you on Instagram.
Thank
and
you.
वहाँ full आप कलाकार हैं आप.
You know what? We have very busy, stressful lives.
जी.
So थोड़ा तो मतलब we have to enjoy and
हाँ,
have
नहीं.
downtime and do मस्ती, right? तो उससे de-stressing भी हो जाता है. तो
So
yes.
dancing, one you like
of
all
course,
that.
Of
Yeah.
course, of
So,
course. A little bit of everything.
So guys, if you want to see Namita on in a different avatar, please follow us on her on Instagram. मेरा इंटरव्यू सेटअप हुआ, मैं इंस्टाग्राम देखने गया, मैंने कहा ये इनका लेना है इंटरव्यू, ये एंटरप्रेन्योर है. फिर मुझे हाँ ये तो वही वाली है. So yeah, so there's definitely different facets of you which I want to bring out. You have also given a lot of interviews, so we will talk some of the same things, but I also want to go deeper because this is deep talk. So I want to understand a little deeper about that. And let's just right now you own this company MK Pharma, and I have been a banker, so I know कि sometimes you can talk about valuation, sometimes you're not. So can you talk about it? It's very valuable company.
It is. So Chetan, MQ Pharmaceuticals was started by my father, Satish Mehta. Like you, he's an IIM Ahmedabad graduate and
Yes,
very proud to be
he's my
from
senior.
that fabulous institution that you belong to. And MQ currently, what I can share are some high-level sales numbers. It's a 7,000 crore company, presence in over 70 countries, 10,000 employees. What I can't talk about is valuation because we are considering an IPO. We have a private equity player,
नहीं,
Bain
और
Capital.
zero भी तो there are so many zeros. How to even tell?
Yes.
How many zeros in 7,000
crore? In 7,000 crores.
Do you
Okay,
know?
I don't want to discuss that right now.
See?
I need coffee for that. But the bottom line is, I can't talk valuation. I can talk sales and employees and countries at this point.
So sales are 7,000 crores, and we need some time to even know how many zeros are in 7,000 crore. Which, if I'm not wrong,
Enough zeros.
10 zeros. Yeah, am I right? 1 crore has 7 zeros, so 7,000. So 10 zeros.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
लगाते जाओ zero. छोटे no, our old calculators won't
I
even
never
work.
thought of it in terms of zeros. Anyway, that's an interesting perspective.
When you don't have 7,000 crores, you
Then you
think
think
like
about
this.
the zeros.
Then I think about the zero. But tell me something, like what I'm trying to say is the scale. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so big.
Yeah.
And you're running this ship where, like the scale, you're saying so many countries, 70 countries?
Yeah, but let me put a caveat here. So out of the 7,000 crores, I manage the India business, which is about 2,000 crores. So it's still got a lot of
यार,
zeros.
फिर भी 10 zero हैं.
It's still
So,
got the 10
I mean-
zeros, but that's like my baby, the whole brand building India doctors. So let's clarify that. Currently, my father is still the CEO for the group CEO for 7,000 crores. But I run the India business, which is 2,000 crores. Worked out
When
well.
you say worked hard, and I'm asking this. I know it's a small. It's amongst your many achievements. The CA achievement now looks like a theek hai, that was long time ago, man. But for many people who are watching this channel, they are preparing for entrance exams. CA, IIT, IM, medical, law, IS, whatever. So yours is also like an entrance exam, if I can call it.
Yes.
What was the schedule like in those days? What was your daily schedule like when you were preparing for CA? Because maybe there is something for people to learn. That's only why I'm asking. Firstly, how long did you study for it? And what was your average studying schedule like for this?
So it was a very busy, rigorous schedule. So, for example, my classes, I'd go for CA classes. The classes would start at 6 o'clock. So you can only imagine you have to wake up at 4:30.
6 in the morning?
6 in the morning, we had to show up in
Where?
class. This was in Pune, in one sort of the interiors of Pune, and Mr. Zavre, who held those classes, he was known to have absolutely spectacular results. So everyone from Pune and even the neighboring cities, that was the most sought after class, and you had no choice. He was a monopoly. If he said 6 a.m., you show up at 6 a.m. So I
So
remember.
why was he doing it at 6 a.m.?
Now that, oh yeah, that's a good question. You know why? Because we had articleship. So we had to reach work at 9 a.m.
Got it.
So if you need to reach work at 9 a.m. and put in a full day of work, where most of the times in articleship you're at different clients' locations, then you have to start early. So his entire thinking is start at first thing in the morning, get it out of the way, and then go work. And then of course he would burden us with a lot of homework, which had to be done post work. So it's fair to say that 4 years of my life, between the entrance, intermediate, and final, I had no life.
You always wanted to be a CA, like from age, like
So, I come from a family where education was extremely important. Everyone in my family is extremely highly educated. They're super achievers. So, for me, again, you're talking about 25 years back, there were only two options. Either medicine, engineering, and if you don't want to do one of these two, then CA, right? There wasn't another option because tags mattered. Those labels
आज भी
mattered.
ऐसा ही है वैसे.
Aaj bhi hai, but I think, when I look at myself as a mother, my son's 16, I don't push him. If he wants to go be a singer, thanks to your lovely movie, Three Idiots, which defined my parenting style.
Oh,
So I'd like
wow.
to compliment you for that. But I genuinely feel I'm at a place where if my sons came and told me they wanted to be a chef or a musician, I'd be fine with it. If I told my father that 25 years back, he would either have a heart attack or disown me. So I think times have changed because of good books. Raju Hirani turned it into a brilliant movie. It's not the same. I wouldn't say it's the same. I think a lot of parents think differently now, which is a good thing.
But serious question in this, like especially those who are preparing for entrance exams, studying, building careers. How do you see it now? Now that आज इसलिए you don't have to be modest. आज you are much more life experience like I have. That's the only advantage we have over the people watching. We have more life experience. That cannot be denied. So वो जो life experience है, what would you say? Like how do you this whole love, relationships, dating, hookups, all these things. How do you see this while you're preparing and building for your career? Is it better to go this, like you said, nahi, koi nahi, main dekhunga bhi nahi? Is it better to balance? Is there a time for everything, or do you think sab saath ho sakta hai? How do you see it today?
That's also a very good question. And now that I have teenage kids, I think a lot about it, right? See, I think with more gray hair and as you get older, you become less judgmental. You become less black and white. So I'd like to start with a caveat that whatever
More
works
grey,
for,
less black and
no.
white. I'm sorry, it's nice.
Whatever. It's like whatever works for people,
Huh.
right? So I have seen both sets. I have seen people who can balance both, who can have a boyfriend and still work very hard and have compartments for both. For me, that didn't work because I am a very emotional person. I do get sort of very intense at times. And so for me, I knew I would not be able to compartmentalize and it would be a huge distraction. So what I feel is that each person should really assess their personality and figure out what works for them. I knew what would work for me and I stuck with that.
Which is-
Yes, this worked for me.
You want to achieve something so that people will love you.
So that's a very good question. When I was younger, success to me depended on labels and I felt that would make people love me more. Fortunately, over the years, because I said I'm all of 45 now and age gives you a lot more experience and helps you think through stuff. And I've been very lucky. I've got 3 fabulous mentors and, my mentors have really changed the way I think about life. I can truly put my hand on my heart and say today, Chetan, I don't let labels or people define who I am. I decide my self-worth. I decide what I want to do. I did Shark Tank, for example, even though it involved 14 hours a day shoot and it was a lot of effort, 13 cameras facing you, which we're not used to, right? I did it not because I wanted people to love me or I wanted more Insta followers. We didn't even know if it would be a hit or it would just completely not take off because it's a new concept. I did it because I saw the struggles my father had as a first gen entrepreneur and then how lucky we got and how blessed we were. And I felt that if people like me don't give back to the ecosystem, who will? So I joined Shark Tank with a very clear purpose of spreading the message of entrepreneurship, giving it the respect it deserves, helping founders, being a part of their journeys with a very pure and giving intent, because that's who I've become right now. I genuinely do not give a damn. I very rarely you'll see labels or people pulling me down. And that happens with age. When you've seen the rock bottom, then there's only up to go from there. And I've worked on myself. And I'm just so much more peaceful because of that. And I'm so much more productive because of that. So if you want to be your productive best and you want to be a super achiever, you got to get rid of all that external noise and be more inward looking. And today I can honestly say I only listen to my inner voice.
How do people get into to saying, you know what, I'll do this hard work, I'll do it, I'll freaking go on that hike, or I'll go running, or I'll lift heavy weights, or I'll cut out sugar. These are all difficult things. How does one actually start that process if you are used to a horrible lifestyle?
See, firstly, no one can do this for you. It's you and you alone who can change the mindset, and you have to be committed to it. And you have to do a lot of self-talk. So even in my journey, whether it's been education or losing weight, you will slip many times and you will feel like giving up. But that's where when you love yourself, you're more forgiving, you're kinder to yourself, and you just dust yourself off and pick yourself up again and keep going. So I think you have to have empathy, not just for the world, but for yourself too, when you screw up and when you make mistakes. And you have to do a lot of self-talk.
Let's talk about relationships.
Sure.
Right? You'd mentioned, you've been very open about your relationship with your father. For your marriage also, you said you've been married 20 years and you yourself said marriage is hard.
It's hard. It's a lot of work.
Marriage is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Marriage has had ups and downs. Tell me about it. Like what is hard about it, about relationships in general, whether it's marriage, live-in, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, any such kind of relationship. And what are some of the ups and downs and how did you come out of it?
So I can't talk in general. I'll talk about my relationship with Vic.
Please.
Of course, like I said, Vic has been, an anchor in a lot of ways. And, he liked me for who I am, which for me was a very big thing. He moved to India for me. I mean, this is a guy who's an American citizen. His family's in Los Angeles. He loves the US, right? But he realized this is something I really wanted to try. And he was like, okay, let's try it. And I think that was a very bold move for somebody. We didn't know how it would pan out. The company was 500 crores. We didn't know if it would take off or just stay stagnant or if this move would work out. So I think he did something because he really felt that this would help me and to help me fulfill my dreams. Even during Shark Tank, all those weekends that I was out, he was a single parent to our 2 boys, especially one going through exam stress in 10th grade. So not a lot of men in India do their share of work. I think Vic has been fabulous in terms of doing his share at home so that I can take on a lot of these things that are very selfish, if you may call it that. Secondly, there have been things like a few traditions. I'm not very ritualistic by nature. And so there are a lot of things that I didn't feel were right and didn't want to do it. Again, I don't judge others for doing or not doing. I did not want to do it.
For example?
So, for example, I didn't want to do Karwa Chauth because I didn't believe in it
All right.
as a person. And I know his whole family did it, right? And so when that conversation was brought up by his mother, I went to him and I said, look, I need food. I've never fasted a day in my life. You do not want to see me without food in my system.
Yeah, hungry Gujaratis are not a good idea.
Hungry Gujaratis are not a good sight. And I said, even, I'm a staunch feminist. And I don't believe in this and many other rituals. So I would not like to do this. Things like that, he supported me. He's really been very progressive. And I'm not an easy person to handle. I can get very intense, very self-centered. And so, for him to really let me be myself was fantastic. Where the crack started happening is once the kids came in the picture. Because we still have very different parenting styles. He's raised in the US. His parenting style is very different. I've grown up in India. My parenting style is very different. And so we would butt heads a lot on parenting. And at times I did feel judged because he felt I wasn't giving enough as a parent. And I felt I was giving enough as a parent. So we've had a disconnects around parenting, which I think over the years, we've not resolved a lot of those issues. But for the sake of our kids, we try to have some sort of a balance where certain things we do his way, certain things we do my way. In the interest, not for any other reason. Like I say, he's a very progressive guy, but in the interest of me being a better parent, he's put his foot down on certain things like travel. Don't travel more than X amount, or don't do this, don't do that, it'll hurt the children. So the intent was never to clip my wings or to, sort of let me not be myself. I think the intent was a good one. It was for the sake of the children to have the mother around more. But I didn't always take it positively. Even now, I don't take it very positively because I feel that I can be a good mother and still travel X days. So we have a lot of those disconnects. But I think the important thing is mutual respect. If you have mutual respect, you have a lot of ups and downs, but you tend to at some point find that balance and middle ground. And I think that's what's happened in our case. It started with very intense Yash Raj Chopra, Bollywood style love, matured into respect, had massive ups and downs once kids came in the picture. But I think now that the kids are also older, it's again stabilized to where we have a lot of mutual respect. And yes, we still butt heads a lot around parenting. But we managed to find ways where I still do a lot of things that he doesn't like, but he's accepted it. He pushes back on a lot of things that I don't like, but I've accepted it. So I think marriage is about that. Marriage is, if you want to have everything your way, you cannot be in a relationship. Especially not as a boyfriend, girlfriend, you possibly can survive in a live-in, but you cannot survive in a marriage. I think if you want to survive in a marriage, there is a lot of giving up your personal ambitions, goals, desires for the other person to show that respect. And I've done a lot of that. He's done a lot of that as well. And trust me, both of us are type A personalities. It is not easy
No.
to compromise and to give up on things you really want to do.
And really believe in. I mean, especially like...
No, and you don't believe in it, but you still do it because you want to stay married and
Keep
that's
peace.
the right thing to do.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So that's the toughest part of any relationship, and that's where I see a lot of marriages break or not continue because people are not willing to make those compromises. Many times I do things which I feel are absolutely, I don't want to do them and I'm inherently against.
Is that like...
Like the travel part, I have stuck to the quota.
You have a quota?
Yes, in the interest of the children. So I don't believe in it. I think even without the quota, I would still be a great mom. But I've given in because he felt strongly about it. Right? So a lot of other things also I've done, though I don't believe in it. So sometimes the ability to do things to show the other person that you care and respect and put that person before you to show that respect is the toughest thing to do in this generation or this age where we've all become very self-absorbed, very self-centered, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to do that.
Yeah, that's very well put.
Yeah.
And I think on parenting, it is hard because there is no user manual for
I've
children.
struggled. In fact, one of the chapters in my book is on how I screwed up as a parent. I have
I'm sure
made
you didn't,
lots
but
of mistakes as a parent, and those are again some of the very painful memories of my life. But you know what? That's where loving yourself comes in. If you love yourself, you become kinder and you focus more on the learning and the growth rather than the guilt
Yeah.
and the hurt. And the minute that perception changes, where every time you screw up and you make a mistake, you say, okay, you know what? This was bad. I made a big mistake. But let's focus on the learning and the growth rather than the guilt and the hurt. You become a different person.
How do you look at being happy?
It's a choice. A lot
Really?
of crappy stuff happens to you, right? And it's how you react to it that decides whether you'll end up being happy or miserable. All my experiences I gave you were how I reacted to the situation. Some other kid or parent would have probably reacted differently. So my point is happiness is a choice. And this is where, I've worked on it. So I think what happens is the earlier Namita was in just action mode. Like, constantly doing something. So I was running MCure. I have Thapar Entrepreneurs Academy, an academy that I've been running for 6 years, teaching entrepreneurship to teenagers. And it's been one of the most gratifying experiences of my life. I've been doing that. I'm writing a book. I have a YouTube channel on women's health, 22 episodes launched, called Uncondition Yourself with Namita, where we break a lot of taboos around women's health. I do a lot of speaking engagements. I'm a mother. I have to gym because I tend to put on weight very quickly just by looking at food, like any hardcore good Jew. So my point is, I'm doing a lot of things at any point of time. And when you're constantly in doing mode, you don't take out that time, Chetan, for self-reflection and to just be quiet. And that doesn't mean watching Netflix or reading.
Yeah, I was going to ask,
I'm
you
talking about
don't...
just sitting and doing nothing.
So when you say like, I thought I had some time, so I wrote a book. I thought I had some time, so I made 22 episodes. I thought I had time, so I did show. I mean, most people don't think like that, Namita. Most people say,
Yeah.
I have time, let me open my phone and see Insta Reels. If I have more time, let me watch a season. Let me binge watch. Let me do anything. Let me do time pass. I don't think you ever do time
I
pass.
schedule time pass.
How
So
do you
I'm-
look at time?
So what I do is even my fun or that time for self-reflection where I get in touch with my inner voice and help myself be happier more is something I schedule. So I think it's important to schedule things, and if you're good at time management and prioritizing and delegating a lot of the mundane stuff, you will keep challenging yourself. And at 45, I think my best years are yet to come. So I feel like I've done all these things, but I genuinely feel that my best is yet to come.
Wow.
And so if I don't push myself, how is that best going to come? You have to always work hard. There's no substitute to hard work in life. Fortune favors the brave.
Yes.
So I have to have the courage to keep working hard, to keep aspiring for more. Then the fortune follows because, the universe conspires to make it happen. You're a product of your thinking and you're a product of your subconscious. And you choose your joys and sorrows way before you experience them through your thinking, right? And so I want to constantly keep challenging and pushing myself. But I don't want to get burnt out, because when you get burnt out, then you start looking really ugly. And I want to continue looking glamorous and good. So I have to schedule time for fun, for my massages, for my movies, for that quiet time. I schedule time. But doesn't mean that I'm going to give disproportionate time for it. I've cracked the amount of time I need to do that as well.
How does one live for themselves?
By listening to their inner voice. So you are authentic when you're true to yourself, right? So I say things which I mean. I do things which I mean. Earlier it was all about posturing, saying the right things, doing the right things. I think now I am who I am, and I'm very comfortable showing my real self to the world and not having a mask on. I'm very comfortable. Like for years I was told, you talk too loudly. Can you talk a bit softer?
We need you to talk
Can
loudly.
you talk less? It was almost like I talk too much.
We need good audio
You're
levels, so
gesturing,
we are
you're
fine.
gesturing too much. Like I was actually given this feedback at work that you're too loud, you talk too much, you gesture too much. Can you tone it down? You won't get taken seriously. And I actually tried it, and it absolutely didn't work. So, my point is, if I'm a Basanti, I'm a Basanti. And let me unapologetically be proud about who I am and what I am. And I think
For
that's
young
what happens.
people watching, this is a Sholay reference.
Yes.
Clearly, it's a favorite movie.
They will not know who Basanti
Yeah,
is.
please watch Sholay. It was an all-time classic. Then her
Yes.
kids are named after the
Absolutely. So I
movie.
think my point is, the reason I'm happier is because I'm more authentic. And I'm more comfortable being who I am. And I like myself. And when you like yourself, it shows. Your skin glows. People get attracted to you. People want to be around you. People want, admire you. You feel like you're a magnet.
Yeah.
And that positivity inside you just radiates in everything, from the way you look, to the way you speak, to the way you perform at work. And that cannot be faked.
Yeah.
That is something that is hard earned. And when you reach that point, it's beautiful. And I feel
Definitely.
good about it.
Before we go, anything you'd like to tell, mostly younger people listening, they come to my channel because they want to become something in life. They're a little bit lost, maybe.
Yeah.
Some things you'd like to maybe say to them?
The last page on my book, and now you have my cell phone, so even my DP quote, I just have, what is it? 6 words. I think those 6 words is all I'd like to repeat. It's a beautiful quote that a dear friend shared with me. It says, "Be you, the world will adjust."
Wow.
I just love it. I think it's so powerful. If you can be yourself, if you can love yourself truly for who you are, knowing fully well you'll keep making mistakes, but you'll keep learning and getting better, and the world will adjust. Don't care about external validation. Those are 6 very powerful words.
Definitely.
So I think that's the message I'd like to give. be you, the world will adjust.
अब adjust तो
Their
करना पड़ेगा.
problem.
This is the interview, guys. You have to adjust and watch it. Any last thoughts on your experience today before we end this?
I think I had a great time. It did not feel at all like an interview. It felt like two friends.
Yeah,
It's the
it's
first
not
time
an
I'm
interview.
meeting you.
It's not an
No,
interview.
but you know what was nice is it's the first time I'm meeting you. We've never met before.
No.
We've not even spoken. But you're a very warm person. And you're right, you have a lot of empathy because even when you asked the tough questions, there was a good amount of sensitivity. In how you ask the questions. You ask the question with the intent of helping the audience and not with the intent of sensationalizing or creating drama. And I think that's what truly differentiates a good author, a good human being
Thank
from a
you.
not so good one. So I think the reason I enjoyed it is because you were warm, you had empathy, you made it fun, and I felt like I was having conversation with a good friend, which is always so nice.
Thank you. I wish you all the success in anemia and
Hypertension.
and whatever disease you want to conquer.
Dialysis, I can
Okay,
go on and
fine.
on.
And in Shark Tank too, and in your books, and more than anything else, I think you are a seeker. You are a urban sannyasi.
Open sannyasi. That
I mean, you're not
sounds
going to go
nice.
to Himalayas. You're not going to check out.
I love that term though. It's beautiful
But-
because I really think I'm heading there.
Yeah, I can see that lamp of spirituality has been lit in you, and you're exploring, and you're a lifelong learner. So you're not arrogant about it that हाँ मैं आता है, because just because you run a 7,000 or whatever 1,000 crore company, you don't feel that you know everything, and you had to learn how to do makeup, and you had to learn now how spirituality works, and you are a seeker on a path, and all these other things that are happening around you are fun and wonderful, but I think your path is taking you somewhere amazing. And I think someone once told me, I see a lot of my friends are founders, and I've also had my journey, and I said, okay, when does it stop, right? Someone wise once told me that nobody will tell you. You have to draw the finish line.
Yeah.
You have to say, okay, this part of my journey, like growing the turnover, this is here. I've done this now. Now it's something else. So for me, I reached that point during COVID, and I realized that I need to give back. I need to, I mean, I've written 13 books, so I can write 2 more, and my resume will say 15 hits instead of 13.
Yeah.
But in the time I take to write those 2 books, if I make these videos, if I talk to people like you, make the effort, this will inspire thousands. And like maybe so many people will watch it, and maybe even if 5% act on it, it can transform lives.
And I applaud you for it. It's not easy, Chetan.
It's not,
It takes a
but
lot of work
it's
because
fun.
it takes research, and it's something different. And
It's
stepping
different,
out
all
of
these
your comfort
mics and
zone.
light and
yeah. So
age
I mean,
47.
it's. I'd like to congratulate you because again, the intent is a very good intent. So I'm really happy you're doing it.
Thank you. And now for the guys watching, now there's something for you. Now you have to give the Guru Dakshina, which is not money. Guru Dakshina is very simple in YouTube. You have to like, subscribe, share. Subscribe करने को कह रहा हूँ, रिश्ता करने को नहीं कह रहा. So, and put a comment. And I promise you, Namita will read all of them. She'll reply to a few. She's busy. She'll schedule it in her time to reply to Chetan's YouTube channel Deep Talk comments. But she'll definitely read all of them. You liked what she said. You disagreed. You want to troll? I don't think nobody will troll you. I can guarantee you.
You know what? Be my guest. You
I
want
am
to troll
telling
me?
you,
I'm fine
nobody
with
trolls
that
on
too.
my channel. I have such a fantastic community. But guys, do comment, because all these things you do.
I'd love to hear the comments, Chetan. So
Yes.
I'd like to endorse that.
तो आप देखोगे ना? हाँ.
Absolutely. I will read the comments.
While you're getting
I
your
will
massage.
reply, whatever. The point is, I'm very happy to read the comments because, again, that's where the growth. You said I'm a seeker. I think you seek growth. And that's where the growth comes from, because you hear what people are liking and not liking, and that helps you become a better
They
version.
will
too.
give you some
Yeah,
very.
so I would want to see those comments.
Good,
and
good.
I will reply.
Oh, cool. There are some very, very smart people here. And guys, when you do all that, it's what they call engagement. And YouTube वाले भैया जो बैठे हैं वो कहते हैं हाँ ये वीडियो औरों को दिखाओ, वो item number मत दिखाओ, आज ये दिखाओ. And
Item
as you know, I can't compete with
Am I
item numbers.
competing with the item
We are
number?
not. We are just trying to give wisdom. But people have to decide whether what should society watch.
By the way, item numbers are a lot of fun.
We can record one
please
sometime.
don't discount
चलिए
item
कभी
numbers.
करेंगे shark.
Shark item number.
That we may be onto something.
Sounds amazing.
I know you're going to
Next
propose.
episode.
No, you guys can do it as a promo song work, and then there can be like a like a big tank with everybody
Oh
dressed
my
like a
God.
mermaid. Okay, I'm already
Yeah, I think
going.
you're getting a bit carried away
okay, a
now.
bit carried away, guys. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Namita,
Thank
for
you,
coming.
Chetan.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.